each other like this, we keep loving each other like this, we keep going out and battling like this, I promise you, bro. I promise you, bro. It's the top and we ain't stopping. Yes, sir. And we ain't stopping. Yes, sir. Me on me. Dance on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. All these sacks, the QB scared of dropping back. Get 'em in, go attack. From the kick off to the final snap. We up peak, we in the city. SCIA turned up, baby, tune in with me. UCF, the real blood. All you need to know right here, I'm talking real loud, babe. Start Adam, Chef, Kenny Jakes. Till it really on point, no pump face. PCs to the house, new beat, drop it now. YouTube for my dead news, then my go-to, never take down. What's in it, got nothing on it. Down my squad, put something on it. Tell her AC how we run it. Get the ring fitted, cause we coming for strip, sack, touchdown. I better run now. It's 4 down, go punt now. Cut through the bug, he start down. Yeah, strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go.
Touchdown! DJ Chark, the over-the-shoulder grab.
Mike Leach basically said, hey, you want to lead the country in passing? Minshew, deep ball, separation, DJ Chark. Chark with a stiff arm on board, and Chark is still going. Here's J.J. Watt. Minshew down the sideline.
And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the official Clown Show, because that's what's going on in Jacksonville right now, man. You know, we at least Jaguar fans, we can make 2-14 relatively fun. You know, usually 2-14, we're down and out, we're ready to move on. But now we've had fan-generated interest in Sunday's game. It doesn't mean anything. If the Jaguars win, they may move back a draft spot from 1 to 2, which would honestly kind of suck. But it might knock the Colts out of the playoffs, which would be cool. And it'll shake up the playoff picture a little bit. I mean, that's all they'll do. And hey, we'll add another home win for the fans. But that's about it. Now, before I go into it, let me go ahead and give everyone shout-outs, man. The very first person in here was Trent Baalke, the clown. All right, he's got the new – he's updated, man. He's got the new profile picture. Shout-out. We got CJ, P. Cap, True Seminole in the building. What's up, Cameron Boys? I usually just call you Cameron, man. That last name is too hard for me to pronounce. What's going on, Darian? What's going on, Matt? David Bryan in the building. What's up, man? Zach is whack. What is going on, homie? Welcome, everybody. Jags United says, sheesh. What's going on, guys? So here we are, man. I want to so let's go ahead and paint a picture about really just the timeline of everything that's gone on really in the past 12 months. So last offseason, you know, once the final game against the Colts in Indianapolis happened, the Jaguars capped off a 1-15 season. And this last offseason was probably the most hype we've ever had after a really, really bad season. Because we looked at it and said, look, you know, Caldwell, Doug Marrone, they're out of here. Number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence, is coming to town. This is going to be the most attractive spot for anybody. For a GM, because we have 5 picks in the first 65 picks. We have 5 selection in the first 65 picks. You know, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and also the top pick of the 3rd round and the top pick in every round. So that's going to be awesome. And obviously, a head coach to come in here and say, "Look, I get to coach up Trevor Lawrence, man. You know, someone that everyone, all the experts, all the analysts deemed as a generational prospect." So we had that going for us. So Shad Khan, it was really his time to finally take this team by the horns and figure out what to do. lead this team in the right direction, bring the right staff in here to be able to capitalize on everything the Jaguars had going for us. And he might have had the worst offseason in NFL history when it comes to who he hired at what spot. The obvious is that he brought in Urban Meyer, and the vetting process was not good for Urban Meyer, the way he brought him in here. Essentially, he zeroed in on Urban Meyer in the Super Bowl when the Chiefs were playing the 49ers. He had a conversation with Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer told him all about how to build a winning culture, what you need in the front office, all this different stuff. And Shad Khan was sold. You know, he went into a Toyota dealership and, you know, bought a vehicle with 250,000 miles on it for about 30 grand is essentially what Shad Khan did. Because Urban Meyer was a complete fraud and he was a con man. He came in here and he did not preach any of the philosophies that he spoke of. And we all know there's that viral picture of Urban Meyer out there. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Urban Meyer. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I'm going to pull this up for you guys. Give me 1 second. This is what happens when you produce your own show, right? Share. Okay. Share screen. Bear with me, guys. Okay, here we go. And my mouse is dying on me. Okay. Boom. This is what's going around. Criteria to examine for struggling teams. 1, trust issues. Nobody in the Jaguars building trusts each other. They're backstabbers. You know, which kind of brings up the Trent Baalke thing, but no one knows who to trust. Urban Meyer doesn't even know who to trust in his own building. The leaks are coming out, and Urban Meyer has no idea where they're coming from. Number 2, dysfunctional environment. We have players talking to media, talking all about the dysfunction going on. Number 3, selfishness. Selfishness. This man decided that he was not going to fly on a plane home from Cincinnati, and instead, he's shoving his finger up 25 or whatever year old blonde girls' buttholes. I don't know how else to put it, but I mean, we all saw that picture. This is the definition of irony. Trust issue. This is exactly everything that Urban Meyer preaches against. And it makes you realize that Urban Meyer really did not give a shit. He did not give a shit. So take that off of there. Stop sharing the screen. But he did not care. You know, I mean, he really had no plan. You know, he came in here, he didn't know anything about free agency. He didn't know anything really about the draft. He didn't really know how to coach at the NFL level. You know, all the reports are coming out that look like, you know, Colin Cowherd said that look like he's friends with Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer said that he never watches Sunday football. And I remember one time, even when the Jaguars had a bye week, he was like, yeah, I sat there and watched NFL football on Sunday, and it was cool just to see what it's like. And it's like, what? And obviously, he didn't know players' names. He didn't know, like, honestly, at the end of the day, with Urban Meyer, we did not get the real Urban Meyer. You know what I mean? Urban Meyer just did not try. Like, I firmly believe that if Urban Meyer cared more, he would have done better. But he didn't really care. You know, and that's that. You know, he was a different Urban Meyer than at Florida, at Ohio State. I think at some point, probably in a preseason, he realized just how bad this team was. And he just started collecting paychecks, man. Come in at 9 o'clock, leave at 5. Let all the position coaches game plan and stuff like that. He wasn't involved in any of that. So, yeah, that was Urban Meyer. We gave Urban Meyer the keys to the franchise. And we said, look, now Urban, we have to find a general manager. And Urban Meyer was going to have a big say on that. If he did not want Trent Baalke, he did not have to take Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke was a guy that obviously he did not have a good run in San Francisco. You know what I mean? He kind of took over a Super Bowl team, drove them to the ground, made Jim Harbaugh run away. Shortly after he hired, I believe it was Chip Kelly for 1 year. That relationship was terrible. He left and then hired Mike Tomsula, like the offensive line coach. It was a terrible hiring. And he was just as terrible. And he was out of there too. And then finally Trent Baalke got fired, when you had a third different coach in 3 years. So he was out of there. And then the Jaguars hired him as basically a position that was like a direct report to the general manager. And obviously once Dave Caldwell got fired, the obvious thing to do was to make Trent Baalke the interim GM. You know what I mean? It's kind of because he has experience there. It's kind of like making Darrell Bevell the interim head coach because he was an interim head coach just last year. He knows how to do it. So that's what the Jaguars decided to do there. And so like when Urban Meyer had to go out there and hire a GM, I don't even like how many interviews did the guy actually do? I can guarantee you he didn't really know anybody. And Trent Baalke was in a building. They talked. And Trent Baalke, and he's basically said, okay, why don't we just keep this guy? He's in a building. You know what I mean? He's done this before. Yeah, Trent, stay along. And I'm sure Shad Khan influenced him. But, if you really want to have your shot at the NFL and you really want to be able to make your mark, like you're going to bring in your own guys. So boom, Trent Baalke's here. Now you look at the situation. Shad Khan meets with the media and he's all excited, man. He's smiling ear to ear with Urban Meyer. He reeled in the big fish that he had been in all of for so long. After a lazy coaching search, I don't even know how many guys he interviewed. But he brought in Urban Meyer, and then Trent Baalke just stayed because he was just happened to be there. And Shad Khan's excited as hell. He says, Mark Long asked him a question, what makes you think you did it good this time? And he says, I got it right this time. So it's like, all right. He's confident, benefit of the doubt. And now, I'll say this, after that, they hire the coaching staff. They kind of put together a really weird coaching staff. And it just wasn't very good. I mean, I can go into that, but it's just not a very good coaching staff. And then all the random stuff with the draft, we draft ETN and they said, oh, we really wanted Kadarius Toney. We're like find the most out of any team in OTAs for like violating stuff. You sign on Tim Tebow. You don't know players' names, like all this different stuff. And then Shad Khan eventually is forced to fire Urban Meyer. I mean, he's forced to. Maybe he had his opinion that, look, I'm going to fire him just because apparently after the Tennessee game, he decided that he wanted to fire him after discussions with Urban Meyer. And Urban Meyer said, apparently he asked him how he's going to fix his team, and he didn't really know how. So he's like, okay, he's going to be gone. But they didn't fire him right away. They didn't fire him until the Lambeau situation where Lambeau said that he kicked him. And after that, just a PR nightmare. And, they fire Urban Meyer. And then the fan base is like, yes, there we go. That's awesome. You know what I mean? Now we can finally breathe a little bit. Trent Baalke's there, but he's going to be gone at the end of the year. It's going to be fine. And then next thing you know, a report from Ian Rappaport from Rap Sheet, he says that Urban Meyer is here to stay. Or not Urban Meyer, but Trent Baalke is here to stay. And we're like, what? How can this guy do that? Talk about like half measures. Shout out to Mike Urbantrot. Talk about half measures. Like you can tell this organization stinks right now. This organization needs a whole entire factory reset. You know what I mean? You had a terrible, terrible offseason, and you want to keep Trent Baalke. And Then all of a sudden, all reports from everywhere were just negative. National media killing us. They're like, why would they keep him? This is going to hurt the head coaching search. There's head coaches that will not want to come here because of that. And it turns out, after a week or two, that's true. Like, there are literally coaches apparently that don't want to come here because of that. Agents are saying, what is Jacksonville doing? Local media. And then it comes to the fact that the fans are fed up. The fans are fed up with this. And they go on this whole entire clown emoji movement. Everybody on Twitter, including myself, everyone changes their profile picture to a clown emoji with a mustache. Trying to see if anybody but you guys have all seen it. I'm trying to see if anybody in the chat has one I can display here. That doesn't look like it. But yeah, everybody on Twitter changes at that. Even some people on Facebook, Instagram. It was mainly a Twitter movement. And Jaguar fans are just spamming the crap out of every Jaguar social media post with clown emojis. They're like fire Baalke. And, this isn't necessarily, this isn't necessarily like trying to insult Shad. It's a sense of like, we're not calling Shad Khan a clown. We're calling keeping him around, like Trent Baalke around. That's a clown movement. Shad Khan loses the benefit of the doubt in this. If Shad Khan went out to me and said, look, trust me, this is what's right to do. This is how we need to do it. Oh yeah, here we go. This is a clown emoji. So, if Shad Khan met with me and said, look, this is what we need to do. Trust me on this. I have a good relationship with Baalke. We have a plan to get things right. He no longer has the benefit of the doubt anymore. He got the benefit of the doubt when he first took over ownership and, he kept around Gene Smith and hired Mike Mularkey. And then 1 year later, he cleaned house. He had the benefit of the doubt when he hired Gus and kept him around for a while. Then he was gone. Then eventually Doug Marrone, Tom Coughlin came in and had the benefit of the doubt then. Then all of a sudden those guys are fired. And then now they clean house. They pretty much fire everybody. We have no GM in place. We have no head coach in place. Now it's time to completely clean things out. And then what do? You go out and literally put together the worst staff you could have put together. The worst staff. That's how you respond to how bad this thing is in an offseason where you're getting Trevor Lawrence, you have all these draft picks, you have all this money. This is the stat that you put together. And obviously, I know a lot of us fans, look, we wanted Urban Meyer. We were like, this is awesome. Let's do it. But we, the fans, we don't have the kind of access that Shad Khan has when it comes to being able to talk to people and get a feel for the kind of guy that Urban Meyer is. If he did the littlest bit of research, he would have known what he was getting with Urban Meyer. Now there's players out there exposing him. You had guys like Laurenti McCray and Andrew Norwell that played for Urban Meyer on your roster. You could have just asked him because Urban Meyer, like you don't ask Bill Belichick. You don't ask Jimmy Johnson. These guys are all kind of elites up there and they respect each other and, no one's going to talk down to each other when they're all the way up there. You don't talk to guys like Tim Tebow or Ezekiel Elliott because those are star players. Urban Meyer has guys like, there's like 5% of players up here. There's probably, about maybe 10% next tier. Then there's the rest of the 70%. Then there's punters and kickers at the bottom when it comes to how he treats people. So you have to talk to the guys like Andrew Norwell and Laurenti McCray and see how these guys are. And he didn't do that. He was just so in awe of Urban Meyer and, Shad Khan probably just talked to his rich billionaire friends and, he's like, all right, this is fine. This is going to be good. And it was obviously terrible. Talk about no due diligence in that one. And then now most recently, this one came out today, is that the Jaguars are now being sued by their main sponsor, like roofing.com. I think they're like a main stadium sponsor or something like that, but the Jaguars being sued for $600,000 because apparently Roof claimed they wanted to partner with the Jaguars when, they hired on Urban Meyer. And then once Urban Meyer was fired, they kind of wanted out, and the Jaguars didn't let them go out. And then now that Jaguars are flooding the social media channels, with emojis, and that they're going to come into the stadium wearing clown outfits, they're like, look, we want no part of this. So now this clown movement has officially affected the pocketbooks of Shad Khan, and that's where Shad Khan starts to get pissed. So we're at the point where, look, we bullied this out of Shad Khan. We're effectively bullying Shad Khan to the point where it's a PR nightmare to keep around Trent Baalke. He's going to have to go. You know what I mean? And then I think the fan base can get more united, because we cannot lose out on the best coach out there because the Jaguars want to keep around a snake with Trent Baalke. And there was a report this morning that came out. Let me go to my Twitter real quick. I should have had all this prepared before this. Let's see. I've been tweeting all day, guys. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter or Instagram at UCF_Jaguar. So, yeah, this is ridiculous. So, some dude, I think it was like CBS, he says that, I'm told inside that building, Baalke has been great to work with. Last year, he kept showing up to the building every day, even when there was no clarity that he still had a job. What? This is what makes Baalke a good guy, because he's on the Jaguars payroll and he's still showing up to work? Is that the standard that we're building? Is that the standard? Ridiculous. And another thing that's pissing me off about the Jaguars is that, look, we're a mess on the field, obviously. Trevor Lawrence has been a mess this year, and I think a lot of that falls on coaching, which we'll kind of get into later. PR-wise, we're a mess. The legal department's a mess, because we know that because, an employee was kicked by another employee, and it just went unnoticed. They didn't care. They swept it under the rug because one employee is a lot higher ranking, probably the highest ranking guy outside Shad Khan in that building. So they didn't care. And they're a legal nightmare, and we're just a PR nightmare in general, man. And now players are saying that, look, like, there's a lot of dysfunction around here. I mean, this thing needs a whole reset, man. And now everyone makes the point that, look, Shad Khan, he's great on the business side of things. Now he's failing at the business side because you have one of your biggest sponsors one out, and now they're suing you. Like, dude, how could you have had a worse year as an owner than Shad Khan has? And I've been one that defended Shad Khan all throughout the years because, look, like, he has invested money in the city of Jacksonville. I give him a lot of credit for keeping the Jaguars in Jacksonville, because that's what he did. A lot of owners would have wanted to move it. I think there's been 4 teams that have relocated, since Shad Khan took the team over in 2012. And one of those teams was not the Jaguars. But here we are. And it's stressful. And a lot of people are jumping off of the bandwagon, the Jaguars bandwagon. They said, look, I can't be a Jaguar fan anymore. And I mean, shout out to you guys. I mean, I couldn't do it. The day I leave being a Jaguar fan would probably be the day that, if the Jaguars were to move out of Jacksonville, that would be like the only time I could ever possibly leave, like, stop being a fan of this team. But yeah. And then once the season's over, they're going to start building the practice fields, apparently, like the indoor practice facilities. So that'll be nice. But man, it's been a bad offseason. It's been bad. And, when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, I mean, we did not do Trevor Lawrence any favors, man. Trevor Lawrence was this generational guy. And they call him generational. Maybe that's a bad word for it, but the thing about it is Trevor Lawrence has all the goods to be a great quarterback. He's got the size, He's got some athleticism. He's not afraid to take a hit. He's got an incredible arm. You know what I mean? He can throw the ball, all over the field at every different angle. He has that kind of arm strength. But coming over from Clemson, he did not run a very good offense out. I mean, he didn't run in a very good NFL system. Clemson was all about getting the ball out quickly. It was a lot of read option. And the thing was, when Trevor Lawrence was at Clemson, the ACC, while Trevor Lawrence was at Clemson, was probably the worst that it's ever been in recent history. There wasn't really anybody that was, competing with Clemson at that time in the ACC. Shout out to Reese Snow with a $20 donation. Dude, thank you so much, man. He says, somebody please give me a good reason to renew my season tickets, but I literally don't know if we can even get any better. Baalke doesn't know how to build a roster. I don't know if I'm ready to spend $3,000 on season tickets if I can't be excited. And that's a great point, man. First of all, we have to figure out what they do with Trent Baalke. Because right now, the Trent Baalke stuff, it's affecting Shad Khan's pockets. There's already multiple season ticket holders that have emailed the Jaguars ticketing department and said, look, if the Jaguars decide to retain Trent Baalke, I'm out. Don't contact me. Cancel my season tickets. I'm out. And obviously, the outrage from this caused the Jaguars lose a $600,000 sponsorship. It's a lot of cheddar. You know what I mean? So if Trent Baalke is out of here, then all of a sudden, look, we got a clean slate. Let's go hire the right guy. My dream scenario is, what if we can come in here and, because my probably my top guy is Doug Peterson. Bringing Doug Peterson, he's been around it before. He's dealt with dysfunction. He's been on the bad end of having bad relationships with, management and ownership, because he was kind of the third guy in the pecking order, where Howie Roseman and the owner of the Eagles was really like micromanaging what he does, and they weren't allowing him to make his own staffing hires. So he understands that, look, like, the atmosphere needs to be good in order to succeed. So you bring a Doug Peterson in here, then you can go out and try to find a GM. I would love to have a guy like I brought up a lot, but his name is Mike Borgonzi. He's over in Kansas City. He's big in apparently he does a lot of work over there when it comes to actually building that Kansas City roster. And I think that could be a really good GM hire. And then if you can bring in like an EVP, an executive vice president of football operations. Obviously, it did not work out with Tom Coughlin, but I think Tom Coughlin took that role to the way extreme. You know what I mean? An EVP does not need to do as much as Tom Coughlin was doing. Tom Coughlin was on the field basically coaching. He was also having big influences when it comes to when it comes to draft and free agency. You don't need a guy that's meddling around on that. You need to let guys do their job. And that's what Tom Coughlin didn't do. So bring in an EVP that has a clear role about what they need to do. You can't just let them go crazy with their role. So if you can hire like a Jim Caldwell or even like a Marvin Lewis as the EVP, guys that are experienced, guys that have been around football a long time, and guys that are notorious for having great relationships with players and coaches. That's what Marvin Lewis and Jim Caldwell is. So if we can get Doug Peterson as head coach, Mike Borgonzi as GM, Jim Caldwell or Marvin Lewis as EVP, that would make me very excited. That'd make me very, very excited. I'll say that. But if we come in here and Trent Baalke is GM and Bill O'Brien or Todd Bowles is head coach, I can't inspire that kind of hope into you, man. I can't. I'm never going to tell people how to spend their money. It's up to you if you want to buy season tickets. But yeah, that would be my advice, my main advice. So let's see how this whole thing plays out, and then you can kind of make your decision from there. But yeah, it's we're 48 hours. Actually, at this point, we're 44 hours away from the conclusion of the Jaguars Colts game. And then we're going to have a lot of clarity, hopefully very soon, about what happens. I'm hoping something happens Sunday. I mean, the sooner the better. I really don't want to have this linger into Monday, because right now this fan base and everybody needs answers as to what Shad Khan's doing. The good thing is that Shad Khan has not put out statements that he's going to be retaining Trent Baalke. And I think as time goes on, more and more crap is hitting the fan with this. And, I remember the Tennessee Volunteers, the fan base rallied, and, they hired Greg Schiano. They rallied and he got out of there. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. So I'd be interested in seeing it. But Reese, thank you so much for the donation, man. Really appreciate that, and hope that helps you out a little bit. So yeah, with Trevor Lawrence, like I was saying, man, like, strong arm, all that, he's got the goods. But the thing is, like, coming from Clemson, he did not run in an offense that was really going to translate to the NFL right away. I mean, we saw that with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was throwing picks like crazy his rookie season. And at the end of the day, Trevor Lawrence needed to be developed. Is that too much to ask? Is put a coaching staff in place that allows your quarterback to get developed? And, Trevor Lawrence has some issues when it comes to reading the field. You know what I mean? Sometimes guys do get open and he doesn't see it, and he takes the check down or he tries to run it. Sometimes he deals with some inaccuracies, and those inaccuracies come from, not setting his feet very well when it comes to, being able to, deliver a strike. And I think that can be worked on. I think it all can be worked on. But you have to be able to supply him with receivers that know the route tree. I mean, we saw last game, Trevor Lawrence drops back, tries to throw it to Tavon Austin, and Tavon Austin is blocking a guy. Like, I mean, some of these route concepts, and sometimes you have guys running to the same part of the field together. It's like, what is going on, man? You know what I mean? So we got to get them with receivers. Shout out to Michelle. She says, "Hello, UCF Jaguar. I want to say I enjoy your videos a lot. You're truthful and right on all your videos. I appreciate your videos. Go Jaguars." Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nick says, Kellen Moore always has wide receivers look legit. Yeah, and that's if we want to talk about Kellen Moore is like my second favorite coach to go after. And I need to make a video on him soon. I will say, guys, this week I started back to get my master's degree. On Monday, I started school back up. So I hope that doesn't slow my upload sometimes, but sometimes, guys need to be, somewhat patient when it comes to just me pumping out videos. But, YouTube's definitely a big priority to me, so I'm going to still continue to pump out the content for you guys, because I know I give you guys I think it's different than if a beat writer leaves, because there's plenty of other beat writers, but I don't think a lot of people do what I do. So I'm going to continue to keep bringing the heat for you guys. David Bryan says, Shad Khan will have nightmares of every clown in history attending TIAA Stadium chanting "Fire Baalke." And that's the thing, man. Shad Khan can stop this. If Shad Khan fires Trent Baalke tomorrow, then boom, people aren't showing up as clowns. He could stop this from happening, and that's what's scary, because if he fires Trent Baalke on Monday, then it's like, why did you allow this to linger into Sunday? Like, why did you let this happen? Oh gosh, I can't defend it, man. I can't get in his head. I can't. You know what I mean? So yeah, thank you for the donation, David. Reese says, I donate because I love you, bro. You get me through every week. I live and breathe Duval. You and Jaguar for the main guys I watch. I appreciate you. Of course, man. And you guys help me too, man. You guys help me too. Zach is wax says, UCF, you're the GOAT. Thank you, man. Matt says, yes, I'll be starting to chant. Oh, man. So real quick, I do want to go into let me talk about Kellen Moore real quick. Kellen Moore, as the time goes on, it really, really intrigues me because I look into this guy, and first of all, he was a backup quarterback in the NFL for a long time. And if we're being honest, this guy was not fit to be a quarterback in the NFL. This guy's had an incredibly, like I was watching highlights. This guy had a really, really weak arm. Like we thought Minshew had a weak arm. This guy's terrible. I mean, he was not built to be in the NFL. But the great thing about him was this guy is a literal football genius. You know what I mean? His anticipation on when guys would get open and ability to read the field and to know how to navigate around things. This guy was excellent. And then he went over to the Dallas Cowboys, and he went from like assistant to like quarterbacks coach and immediately to offensive coordinator. And he has been offensive coordinator under 2 different coaching tenures there. You know, Jason Garrett, you know, he got fired, and then Mike McCarthy came in and says, no, I need to keep this guy because the guy is a complete offensive genius. And we've seen that offense over there just explode. You know what I mean? Just explode. And I love what he does with his running backs. You know, that could translate over to here. Jaguars have James Robinson and ETN. Over there, they have Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. I know if you're a fantasy guy and you draft Ezekiel Elliott, you probably hate the fact that they have Tony Pollard, but he does a great job when it comes to really just getting them both involved and putting up numbers in the offense. And obviously, Dak Prescott plays at a great level, and the wide receivers do too. Now, obviously, the Jaguars don't have the weapons that they do, but hey, you know, like I said, man, I don't know if this will go through, and obviously a lot of homework, but man, you make a trade for, if you haven't watched my most recent video, I said, look, we need to trade for Calvin Ridley, swap picks 1 and 10 so we get the Falcons' 10th overall pick, and in exchange for our number 1 overall pick, that 10th pick, draft like a Chris Olave or Jameson Williams, whoever like the best wide receiver on the board is, and then maybe even like re-sign like DJ Chark or something like that to a 1-year deal. Then all of a sudden, boom, you have Calvin Ridley, you know, a star rookie guy, you know, DJ Chark is back out there. You're going to have Agnew come back. Then boom, like that wide receiver room looks pretty damn good. You know what I mean? Quick shout out, Nick Ludwig with a $5 donation. It's going to be Kellen Moore for our next head coach. He'll develop Trevor, the best out of all candidates. Plus, he somehow always makes wide receivers look legit. Thank you for the donation. And yeah, and with Kellen Moore, like it's tough right now because obviously the Jaguars' job is tough, man. It's a tough job to walk into because there's so much cleanup you have to do. And you know, I think we're setting Kellen Moore up for disaster if he comes in here and Trent Baalke is his GM. You know what I mean? You don't want to waste this guy because he's like, you know, in his early 30s. You don't want him to come into this mess and, you know, completely, you know, just put him in a really bad situation. You know what I mean? You don't want this to tarnish his head coaching tenure. But like, so is this a good job for him to come into? I don't know. But if I were him, man, I'd come in here and like, you know, he runs the offense and I would, you know, because when Sean McVay went to LA, what he did was he had what's his face? Wade Phillips as his defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? And then he was pretty much completely hands off on the defense. He let that guy do that thing over there. And maybe the Jaguars can do something similar. You know what I mean? Come in here and hire an old wise head to run a defense. You know, maybe a guy like Romeo Crennel or I don't know, like what's an older defensive coach? You know what I mean? Come in there, even like a Jim Schwartz. You know what I mean? Jim Schwartz is a guy that, you know, he wasn't a great head coach, but he can coach up a defense. You know what I mean? Have something like that. I don't know. Like, so, you know, have that, like, and that's kind of the basis of your coaching staff. And yeah, Paul says Vic Fangio. Yeah, if Vic Fangio gets fired from Denver, you know, boom, have him run the defense, and you know, we're in a good situation. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be super cool. You know, that's my number 2. And I really think that, and if this if this job isn't great for Kellen Moore, I think he's actually interviewed today with the Jaguars, which I'm gonna go into the Jaguar, the whole entire Jaguar run up about who they've interviewed and whatnot. Wish I had notes on this. I'm sorry, guys. I had a late dinner. I finished eating dinner at 7:55. The live stream came on at 8, so had to kind of rush this thing. Yeah, Mike Zimmer. Yeah, he could be a good defense. You know what I mean? Like get a guy come in here and say, look, you know what I mean? Like Sean McVay, he's completely hands off on the defense. You know what I mean? He really lets the defense coordinator coach. Jags do the same with Kellen Moore, but it's tough because it's like, is this a great job for him, or is it better for a guy like Doug Peterson to come in here who, you know, like it just seems like Doug Peterson is a better fit for us, which sucks. Like if Seattle fires Pete Carroll, I think that would be a great fit for Kellen Moore, unfortunately. So I just hope Kellen Moore stays away from whatever Seattle will be a good place because he's away from us and we don't have to play him all the time. But yeah, that's the thing. So let me go into real quick the coaching staff updates. Let me see. Do I have notes somewhere? Because I made a video on this. Go through my legal pads. Oh, perfect. Have it right here. Boom. I can't believe I found this. I got like 3 legal pads. Okay, so coaching staff updates. So the Jaguars, initially the report came out that they reached out to 8 different coaches, you know, on the short list of who they want to have interviews with. Doug Peterson was one of them. Doug Peterson interviewed a week ago on Thursday. So I believe that was January 3rd or December 30. And quick shout out, $20 donation from Kiefer Woods. Kiefer. I think it's Kiefer. Let me know the because I don't want to mispronounce your name. They said definitely behind the Ridley trade. Ridley, Chark, and draft the best, preferably a fast, deep threat wide receiver, and then address the O-line and D-line via the draft and free agency, and have a good offensive coordinator. This offense could finally put up points. That's what I'm saying. Because right now, the wide receiver group and free agency, you know, the top guys, Devonta Adams isn't going anywhere. Chris Godwin, the Bucs said that they're not going to let him go anywhere. Then he tore his ACL. So maybe that changes things. And Michael Gallup tore his ACL. So if you sign Chris Godwin or Gallup, they're going to miss offseason work, preseason, training camp, all that stuff, and it's going to linger into the season. So that would suck. And obviously, that's a lot of, you know, the first time Trevor Lawrence will ever throw a pass to them will be in like October. You know what I mean? Like that's tough when you need to develop chemistry. And then maybe Mike Williams is a decent option, but I don't know. He just Calvin Ridley is the perfect wide receiver for the Jaguars because he's a guy that's a great route runner, creates really good separation, has great hands. He's fast. We don't have speedy guys out here. He is literally the prototype wide receiver the Jaguars need. Because Jaguars have size. You know, I mean, we have size out there. We don't have that speedy, great route runner kind of guy, and that's what Calvin Ridley is. But obviously, the thing is, you have to figure out what's going on mentally because he took a mental break. And I don't, you know, we're all tired of that CJ Henderson stuff. You know, we wish the best for these guys, but it sucks when they're out here because then we have to sit here and, you know, try to play internet doctor. We don't know anything about the guy. So I love, if the situation checks out, I would love to bring him in here, man. And if the situation checks out, no other team should be out here. Like, we shouldn't lose him to any other team. That he should be ours. You know what I mean? So make it happen. Got to make it happen. But yeah, thank you so much for the donation. Really, really appreciate that. Kiefer. Okay, cool. Thank you, Kiefer, for the donation. So let me the coaching update. So Doug Peterson interviewed December 30th, which was a Thursday. Jim Caldwell interviewed on Tuesday of this week, I believe. Monday or Tuesday of this week. So those ones are down. Byron Leftwich and Kellen Moore interviewed via Zoom today. So that happened. Todd Bowles, he interviewed via Zoom. I don't know if it was via Zoom. I think he just interviewed this week. I think they actually sat down with him in Tampa and interviewed with him. So that one is that's definitely on my low list. I don't want Todd Bowles. I don't want Todd Bowles. I like all these guys. I will not be mad at a bunch of these guys, but Todd Bowles, I mean, he took over the Jets after the Rex Ryan era, and he actually had a pretty good era. He took it over and then lost, and then he left the Jets in a way worse situation than when he took it over. And then obviously after that, the Gase and all that happened. So that's no, I don't want that. So defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, apparently he rejected the Jaguars. Jaguars wanted to interview him, and then he rejected it. And we were all like, "Oh my god!" Here it's we thought there was gonna be a chain of guys not wanting to interview here. But the reason why he did it was because he's like, "Look, I just want to focus on what's on the task at hand with the Cowboys." And that'd be a tough situation for Dan Quinn, because Dan Quinn, he might have one head coach opportunity left. I don't know if he wants to waste it on the Jaguars. You know what I mean? And that's also another one. I don't really want Dan Quinn. There's also, you bring back Dan Quinn, and then you bring back the 4-3 defense that Gus Bradley and Todd Wash ran. And, I want to get away from that. And, I don't know. Players like him, I don't know if that's the right thing for us. Matt Eberflus, he is the defensive coordinator for the Colts. Apparently the word on him was he didn't want to interview this week, mainly because he is playing the Jaguars on Sunday. So imagine if, which is funny because this is the first time this has popped up where you can actually interview guys, before the season ends. But imagine a coach interviewing for a team when at the same time they're trying to beat that team 4 days later. You know what I mean? So that's going to be put off. And I mean, the more I hear about Matt Eberflus, it sounds like he's a really good coach. So we'll see. Nate Hackett, former Jaguars offensive coordinator, currently with the Packers, running a great offense out there. He's going to interview for the Jaguars in the Packers bye week, which would be next week, the playoff bye week. So we'll see about that one. And then a new guy appeared. Who's that Pokemon? Dun, dun, dun. Bill O'Brien. Apparently Trent Baalke pushed for Bill O'Brien. And I put this on Twitter this morning. I'm like, look, the fact that Trent Baalke is pushing for Bill O'Brien and the fact that there has been no rumors of an interview that came out, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. However, now we're going to interview him. Jaguars are going to interview him. Damn it. So Trent Baalke had some say in that. Today was not a good day as a Jags fan, man. You had the report that, this guy says that, Baalke's definitely going to be back and Shad Khan's staying firm. So this one says, if there's a perception/reality gap, the Jaguars have to handle that in the interview process with candidates. One personnel exec told me the decision to retain Baalke showed Khan not being tapped into the football world. Well, I don't know how. You don't have to be too tapped in to see what's going on here, man. Especially on Sunday. If Shaw's going to be there on Sunday, I don't know if he's going to be sunbathing at his house in Naples, but he's going to see everything, and he knows the sponsor left. That affects the wallet a little bit. But yeah, what I mean? It's crazy. If we hire Bill O'Brien, Shad Khan will cause a suicide, which will probably be by me. And that's the thing, man. The thing is, Bill O'Brien really is not a bad coach. I actually think he's a pretty good coach. But the thing about him is that things failed in Houston for him because he failed when it comes to being able to have relationships with his star players. Relationships soured and they did not like him. So that was one thing. And also, he had to play the role of GM, and he was a historically bad GM. He made terrible trades. You know what I mean? He traded away DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson and a second-round pick. That's terrible. This most recent draft, they didn't have a first or second-round pick. You know what I mean? Stemming from, what did they trade away a first-round pick for? I think the second-round pick was for Brandon Cooks. Maybe it was still from the Laramie Tunsil trade. Yeah, I think it stemmed from the Laramie Tunsil trade. So they traded away 2 first-round picks for, Laramie Tunsil. And yeah, they didn't have a pick until the 3rd round of this most recent draft. But apparently, when he comes back, he doesn't want anything to do with the personnel side of things. But the thing is, right now, the last thing the Jaguars need is a coach that was terrible at relationships. You know what I mean? Like, no. That's the last thing the Jaguars need right now. We need, guys that players respect, guys that players can play for. You know what I mean? Just a true leader of men, someone that players can buy into what they're selling. And that's what the Jaguars need right now. So those are kind of the list of names. And I don't know when it comes to these like Zoom interviews, how much they get out of it. I imagine they had to sit down with them again. But, there were some people saying like, look, like we need to jump on this quick, whatever. Like we need to hire a coach quick. But I don't really agree with that, because when you look at some guys that were hired late, and I think I said this in a video, but Bill Belichick was hired very late in January. Mike Tomlin was hired very late in January. Frank Reich was hired in February. So there's been a list of guys that were kind of received late in the season. So I want to do something real quick. One thing that could be working for the Jaguars is the fact that there might not be many head coach vacancies out there. You know what I mean? Let me see. Okay, later. So let's go through the list of teams real quick that are going to be looking for head coaches. Because, we might actually really be able to, hold out and wait a little bit. So the Cardinals, no. Atlanta Falcons, no. Carolina Panthers, I'm gonna keep a tally for you real quick. Do I have a pen in here? So I'm gonna do like a maybe and probably. So what do you guys think of the Carolina Panthers? Do you think I should, because they're in a maybe situation with Matt Rule? I think it would be unjust because he's only in his 2nd year of a coach, and he's had guys like Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, like the bad version of Cam Newton come in. So what do you? I don't know, man. I don't know about the Panthers. I'm gonna put. So you guys all say maybe, probably, no. Yeah. So we're all over the place here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put. I'm gonna put them on maybe. I don't think they're in a probably category. So Carolina. So that's a maybe. Bears, yeah, I'm no doubt Bears are a probably. So Bears. So that's 2 teams. Ravens, no. Bills, no. Bengals, no. So none of these teams. All these teams are no's. Next. Cowboys, no. Lions, no. Packers, no. Rams, no. Broncos, maybe. I don't think they're going to fire Vic, but maybe. Houston Texans already announced they're keeping David Coley, so that's a no. Indianapolis, no. Jaguars, that's us. So, yeah. Quick shout out to TJ Yosu. Let me go over here. He says, let us not forget good offensive line of free agency to protect Trevor. Armstead out of New Orleans, Scherf out of Washington, Browns, Seattle. Yeah, absolutely. And That's what I'm saying. And I know later on I'm going to go more in depth about just what we're going to do when it comes to transactional stuff in the offseason. But a lot of it has to do with, helping Trevor Lawrence out. That's a fact. So thank you so much for the donation, man. So on this page, really none of these teams will be looking for new head coaches. Next up, Vikings are a maybe because things are going a little bit stale over there. Oh, what happened over here? So things are getting stale with the Vikings, so they're a maybe. New Orleans Saints, no. Giants are weird because they already, I think rumors have come out that they are going to keep Joe Judge. So what do you think? Should I even put the Giants on here? Giants said they're keeping Judge. I'm going to put them in a wild card. Yeah, because they already said. Yeah, so let me put them in a maybe. I'm just put them in a maybe because you never know. Things could change. The Eagles. No, they're in the playoffs. Shout out to that guy, Nick Cassera, whatever his name is. He did a good job. Chiefs. No. I'm going to skip the Raiders real quick. Chargers. No. Dolphins. No. Even though, he came on late and I'm sure Dolphins fans are pissed, but I think it's a situation with Brian Flores, like he has to put up or shut up next year. But the Raiders don't have a head coach right now. However, they have an interim guy, and this is what I'm saying, like, look, if the Chargers make the playoffs in the AFC, I'm rooting for them all the way. I just like Justin Herbert. I like their team. But the thing is, Jags fans, we need to root for the Raiders to win because they're playing this weekend and it's a win and get in. If the Raiders get into the playoffs, that head coach would do something that what's his face was never able to do, and that was John Gruden, was get their team into the playoffs. So yeah, if that's an interesting one. So I don't know. So that might be a game where, look, it's a winner get in for the coach too. If the coach wins and they get the team in the playoffs, there's no way you can fire that guy. You know what I mean? So we'll see. So I'll put for this exercise, I'm going to put the Raiders down as a probably, just because, just because of what I just said. So let's scroll down here. I think there's the last page. 49ers, no. Seahawks, I think they're probably firing. I put them in a probably. Firing Pete Carroll. Bucks, no. Washington football team, no. Patriots, no. Jets, no. Steelers, no. Titans, no. So boom. That's so let's see. Let me stop the screen real quick. All right. I don't know who this guy is, but he's blocked. I'm sorry. I got no patience for people like that. All right. So on this list, I basically have 4 teams that are maybes and 3 teams that are probably switching coaches. So let's say Carolina doesn't fire, Broncos don't fire, Vikings don't fire. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's a very big coaching pool here. And over here, the only team that, so I don't really know why I did that, but this is basically the guys I hear that might be looking for coaches: Carolina, Broncos, Vikings, Giants, Bears, Raiders, Seahawks. Say on the safe side, only half these maybes fire their coaches. So that would be only 5 other head coaching gigs available. I don't know that it's. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't think that's a lot for like generally. So that won't be interesting. So that's that. Let me do something real quick. All right. So I'll go ahead and take some of you guys' questions. 187 people in here, man. Shout out to all you guys. If you guys can, definitely drop a like for me. I'd really appreciate that. Also, you know, I don't really have a lot to promote right now. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at UCF_Jaguar. Also, shout out to a few guys I had 4 member fantasy leagues this year, 4 winners, and they all got their, I had to send out Lucas's still. He got back to me a little bit later, so I forgot to order his, but he'll be getting his. But Brett James, he's actually a Jaguar YouTuber. He won one of the leagues. Also, McJagger, he goes by Q, like what was his name in here? I don't know. He has a few different names, but he was McJagger on a sleeper. So shout out to him. He won one of them. And also, who was the last winner? Phoenix won one of the leagues. So they all got these actual portraits. Here, I'll show you guys. They got these portraits, but they're Trevor Lawrence ones. This one was a custom one for me. All my favorite players from each era. They're pretty dope, man. I like it. They all got Trevor Lawrence ones. So if these portraits are something you guys are interested in, Backroom Collections, use my promo code UCFJ for 10% off. You guys can do that. Oh, all right. David Neal says, do you think we should re-sign Cam Robinson or start Walker Little? You know, that's a tough one, man, because the Jaguars there's a very good chance that, hey, maybe the Jaguars, the best player on the board is going to be Evan Neal. And what if they drafted him? Then all of a sudden, because I'm not in the business where I want to like make some of the best players on our team leave. I mean, Cam Robinson is probably the second best player on our offense behind James Robinson. He's the best player on our O-line, and he's a good left tackle. And teams need left tackles. I really don't want to just let him walk. I mean, that's the guy that I want to keep around and sign. You know what I mean? And I want to get rid of everybody else. I mean, I don't care about anybody else on our offensive line besides Cam Robinson. You know, I would start Walker Little at right tackle if he can do it, or at least try him there. And I wouldn't be opposed to drafting Evan Neal. And then you have some options, man. You can maybe move Walker Little inside. I'm not the smartest guy when it comes to where offense linemen would fit. You know, some people say like Juwan Taylor wouldn't be a good guard. But, man, if you can have an offensive line and somehow start Cam Robinson, Walker Little, and like Evan Neal, you know what I mean? And obviously Barch, yeah, like Lucas Agnew says, Barch is going to stay. You know, he's cheap. He's actually a pretty decent right guard. But, you know, I'm ready to move on from Brandon Linder because he's just never available, man. Never available. And you got at some point, like, because he's a guy that, you know, he'll play 4 games, he gets injured. He comes back after 6 weeks, then he has a completely new injury. It's like, dude, come on, man. At some point, you know, you got to fix your shit. And Andrew Norwell, I'm tired of him. Get him out of here. He doesn't even look like he's trying anymore. So definitely needs some new stuff on that. Steve said, UCF, I'm late tonight, but what is your honest thoughts on the clown out? UCF, I think you and Jagonoff should buy the Jags and be the GMs. I'm sure you both would be better. I always say, man, like, literally the Jaguars draft picks would literally have been better the last decade if they were decided by fan votes. I mean, the fans have usually been more accurate about hitting on prospects than the GM himself. So, you know, I say let the fans do the drafting fan poll from rounds 1 through 4, and then rounds 5 through 7 just go with analytics. You know what I mean? Let the analytics decide those ones. That's what I say. What's it called? You can't pay Cam like a top 10 tackle because he isn't. I don't know if he is or not, but he's pretty good. And honestly, it's hard to find left tackles, man. It really is. You would be surprised at how many like tackles really aren't that great in the NFL. The Manning brothers are obviously looking to buy an NFL franchise. And that's what's funny. Like, people will say on my videos, oh, we should have Peyton Manning be our offensive coordinator. Dude, Peyton Manning can do a lot better than offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know what Peyton Manning is wanting to do. I don't think he wants to be a coach just because those are way too many hours. That's a lot of hours, man. And Peyton Manning looks like he's having fun on Monday nights, having not a lot of stress. And I think he just wants to chill, do his thing. Maybe at some point, once he gets into his 50s, maybe he wants to look into being, kind of like a John Elway or a Dan Marino role where they're just overseeing the franchise. Maybe once John Elway gets too old, maybe that job gets handed off to Peyton Manning. Who knows? But it seems like Peyton Manning has a lot more linked to Broncos than the Colts. I don't know why. What are your thoughts on Dylan Gabriel transferring? Do you think UCF goes with Mikey King for next season? Well, the funny thing about Dylan Gabriel is he transferred to UCLA, and then like a week or two later, he transferred to Oklahoma. So he's in a double transfer portal. Do you think UCF goes? I don't know. I think UCF. Apparently, they're trying to get the Plumlee guy from Ole Miss. I don't really like Mikey Keene a lot. I just don't think he has a lot of upside, and he doesn't run Gus Malzahn's offense very well. We're having a freshman come in, Tommy Castellanos, who's more of the dual threat Gus Malzahn guy. So that's who I'm looking at. But I don't think Mikey Keene is the guy of the future. So I don't know. So yeah, that's my that's my UCF talk for today. Appreciate that question. Thoughts on Braxton Berrios? Pretty good, man. Good little, it's funny when you have these like little speedy 5'10" white slot receivers. They're always like scrappy. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this Braxton Berrios, he's a scrappy receiver. You know what I mean? It's kind of like in college football when like a team hires like a black head coach. They're like, oh, this guy's a great recruiter. It's like, how do you know? Like when Charlie Strong was hired on to be like a head coach, different places like, oh, he's a great recruiter. It's like, no, he's not. Like you just say that because you're like, oh, the majority of a team is black. Charlie Strong, oh, he can relate to them. He's a great recruiter. You know what I mean? It's just like funny the different like stereotypes you put on players just because, like Braxton Berrios, the guys were like on the broadcast, oh, he's a scrappy player. I don't know. It's just, it's funny when they put that stuff out there. Footy Facts with an Australian $5 says that, what are you expecting from Jacksonville in 2022 season? Dude. Part of the reason why I'm down on the Jaguars is because like I think we're going to suck next year. We completely screwed up this season, man. When it comes to player acquisition, when it comes to the development of Trevor Lawrence. Like, we had all this stuff, and then we seem to be worse than last year. I mean, we'll see if we can bring in the right head coach and GM and switch this culture around. I don't know, but man, it's like, and that's what's so frustrating right now because it's like, oh, we got to be patient. We got to be patient. But man, like, how long are we just going to suck? Rebuild should not take this long. I tell people, people were at me on Twitter about this. And shout out to Jaguar Trucker. I'll get to your comment in a minute. People were at me on Twitter about this, but I said that 2020 was year one of the rebuild. Because look, we traded away everything that we had. You know what I mean? We cut everybody that was worth any money. It was we threw out everything, and we're starting from scratch. You know what I mean? And we had 2 first-round picks. That was the start of our rebuild. And what do we do with the first-round picks? We draft CJ Henderson, who's not here anymore, and we draft K'Lavon Chaisson over freaking. We draft K'Lavon Chaisson over Justin Jefferson, and we draft Laviska Shenault in the second round. Terrible draft by Dave Caldwell. And then, so we don't have anybody from that rookie class really contributing. And, now we're year 2 of a rebuild, we do whatever. Now we're going to year 3 and we're still looking for where the hell's the talent on this team. We're still trying to find a talent. So it's like, dude, I don't know. This comment triggered me because I think we're going to suck next year, and I'm tired of sucking. So I'll just say that. Thank you for the donation, man. Thank you. Jaguar Trucker with a $20 donation. Dude, thank you so much, man. He says, we need to start a Fire Baalke chant in the stands. COD needs to hear it roar in the stands. Yeah. Absolutely. And and it sucks because no, actually that's pretty easy. Fire Trent Baalke. I think that's going to be an easy chant to catch on. And it's going to be, oh my gosh. It's going to be crazy in the stadium. Shad, it's coming. You have a chance to get out of it. The Clowns will not be in full force if you decide to make a bold move. And fire Trent Baalke, but man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Shad Khan does not get the benefit of the doubt because he doesn't deserve it. He had a chance to completely, rejuvenize the team and do a lot of stuff, when it comes to hiring a really good head coach and a really good GM. And what does he give us? He gives us Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke. Oh my gosh. It's like working your ass off to graduate college. And you finally graduate college and, you get a gift from your parents or something like that, and you open it up and there's 2 big turds. You know what I mean? It's what they gave us, man, because the Jaguars, man, they had so much hype going into the 2020 offseason or 2021 offseason. Primarily because, look, the Jaguars did what we do best. We lost a shit ton of games. We reached a new level of losing where we lost 15 straight games to end the season. SAR 1-0 lost 15 straight. And we were celebrating, man. We were happy to lose those games. And then now this year, this is bad. Jaguars have always been good at losing. In 2020 and 2021, the Jaguars mastered the art of losing. Nobody loses like us the last 2 seasons. It's been terrible. It's been terrible. And, just it's hard to be critical of a lot of these players because of the surroundings. What the situations and the atmospheres we put these players into. It's a really, really hard situation to ask players to be great in. You know what I mean? So just the amount of just draft picks we've wasted, and we hit on these draft picks and they're out of here. It's terrible. It's terrible, man. Yeah, Lucas says we wasted Miles Jack. 2 to 3 years we'll be looking for a linebacker to make a playoff run. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. He's been up and down, and he's a good guy. He loves Jacksonville, but it's I feel terrible for these players that we buy into them, we love them, and then year to year they're losing. And right now, the thing that pisses me off about this organization is that right now with all the crap going on with the Jaguars, first of all, back in 2019 when they traded Jalen Ramsey away, there was complete media silence from both Tom Coughlin and Dave Caldwell about it. They didn't speak to the media for 3 months. They traded him in October, and I think late in December, Tom Coughlin just held an impromptu press conference. They asked him about Jalen Ramsey, and he said, look, that was 2 or 3 months ago. That happened. It didn't work out. He's out of here. And he wouldn't answer questions. It's dude, you didn't. The Jaguars made the biggest trade in franchise history. The biggest trade in franchise history. And you don't want to talk about it. You have Doug Marrone over there answering all the questions about it when he really wasn't involved. You know what I mean? So you put Doug Marrone in front of in front of the media and try to answer questions when he wasn't involved in something. And then this year with all the, they're asking guys about the clown stuff. And the guys they're asking are like Darrell Bevel, who hasn't been in the Jaguars organization for a year yet. He's been a part of the Jaguars for what, 10 months, 11 months? And right now he's the interim head coach. He's just coming in here and trying to put some scraps together, and he's answering questions about, oh yeah, the Jaguars fan base is frustrated. I understand. It's like, dude, like he doesn't know anything about the Jaguars. He doesn't have anything to do with this clown stuff. It's not Darrell Bevel's fault. I feel a little bit bad for him because we're putting him in a terrible situation. I started off the year and I hated Darrell Bevel, but then I look at it and it's like, dude, what could he do? Like, what could Darrell Bevel really have done, like, with the environment that he's in? And then, so you have guys like that, and you have Trevor Lawrence answering questions. Trevor Lawrence was the only player that had media availability after Sunday's game. It's like, what are we doing, man? Shad Khan, stop being such a pussy, dude. Come up to the media and answer questions. At least at the very least, come out with like something better than well-edited graphic that your social media team puts out. Go on video. You don't have to answer media questions. Just go on, put out a video, talk about it. And honestly, I think I don't necessarily think he owes us an apology, but he needs to own up to what he did. He needs to speak and say, look, guys, I messed up. I got fooled by Urban Meyer. I thought we were getting a lot better coach. And, my bad. I did a terrible job. I guarantee he's not going to do that. He's going to be like, well, the best thing I felt like for the Jaguars at the time was to hire Urban Meyer. Like, he's going to say something like that, and he's not going to take any accountability. He's going to say, trust me, Trent Baalke is great relationship. He is, he's going to hear all this crap, and it's like, dude, I'm tired of it, man. Like, I can't listen to it anymore, bro. Like, like what comes out of your mouth stinks. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? I just, like I had to stop listening to Urban Meyer in his press conferences because I was like, what's the point? This guy's clueless. And now it's like our owner, and really, we act like the Jaguars, fixing the Jaguars is such a complicated. It's like we're trying to make some Heisenberg level, meth or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's not that hard, dude. All you got to do is hire the right head coach and hire the right GM. Is it that hard, dude? Oh, gosh. 201 people in here, man. Shout out to all you guys. If anybody's going to the game on Sunday, hit me up because I have some VIP tickets for you guys for all you can eat and drink for $25. So if you guys are going to the game, don't really feel like putting together a tailgate, don't really feel like buying stuff, look, like for $25, all you can eat Bubba burgers. They got chicken wings. They got hot dogs. They got all kinds of alcohol. I know some people met me out there last time. So hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, or even my email, jagsempire15@gmail.com, if you guys may want to do that. So just let me know. Yeah, David Bryan was there last time. It's good, David. It's a good deal, right? You can vouch. It's a good deal. Yeah, it's David Bryan met me out there. Brett met me out there. It's a good deal. And the reason why it's so cheap right now is because they're trying to get people out there because Jaguars suck right now. But come out there in your best clown uniform, and dude, I'm telling you, man, you can eat. You can get as messed up as you want. They have every kind of alcohol out there, whether you want beer, wine, whether you want some of the, some cocktails, you want to go for the hard stuff. They got everything, man. So hit me up on Twitter or Instagram if that's something you want to do. I'll give you a promo code and a link, and you guys can go do that. Drive down from Virginia for that. The clown. I honestly don't think many people would have predicted Urban Meyer would have crashed and burned this horrible. Yeah, Lucas. I did give a shout out. So yeah, shout out to Lucas. He won one league. I still got to send yours out. I've been lazy about it. But I sent out because you hit me up a little bit later. But Brett James has his. Let me see if I can. No, I can't access it from here. But I'll give you guys a shout out and a video and actually show you guys this picture when you get it. But Phoenix won one. Brett James won one. What's it called? Mick Jagger won one, and Lucas Agnew won one. So I had 4 fantasy leagues, member leagues. It was a good time. I'm running it back next year, man. Running it back next year. Shout out to Lucas, man. I'll get you your canvas order this weekend for you, man. But yeah. David says, better to have fun at tailgate than getting us blown out. Yeah, I went to 4 Jags games this year. The worst part about the games I went to were the games itself because it was terrible. The games were just absolutely awful. Jason says, what do you think about the coaches Jags trying to hire? I love Doug Peterson. Honestly, I like them all. I like them all except for Todd Bowles and Bill O'Brien. Other than that, I mean, I could get behind pretty much any of them. If we're going to hire, I don't mind hiring a defensive guy as long as they have a plan for what they want their offense to be. Because honestly, some of the best coaches around the NFL, I mean, look, they're defensive guys. Bill Belichick, defensive guy. Mike Tomlin, defensive guy. Vrabel, defensive guy. Pete Carroll, defensive guy. A lot of these guys are defensive coaches, so I don't know, something to think about. I'd probably take OBJ over AB. AB is a better player. Yeah, AB. Did you listen to him on this? He was on Nelk, like the YouTube channel Nelk's podcast, which is a really random podcast to go on. But he was sitting there like talking about his contract, like, oh, Tom Brady didn't really like me. Look at the contract. Why is Rob Gronkowski making all this money, but I'm on a 1-year prove-it deal? I am, and they're asking like, who's the best receiver on that team, on the Bucs team? Who's the best receiver? And they're like, you, I guess. But he's like, but it's like, dude, AB, no. Mike Evans is better than you. Chris Godwin is better than you. And the reason why you're on a 1-year prove-it deal is because you're an idiot. Like you're a head case. You had some of the from the Raider stuff where he was burning his foot in cryotherapy and complaining about his helmet. He had like 1 game for the Patriots. And then the Bucs were able to kind of calm him down a little bit, but the guy is weird, man. The guy is weird. Anyone else notice that non-dome teams win more Super Bowls? I have not noticed that. But I did get a question earlier. I think I got a super chat, but I didn't answer. People asked me what I think about the clown thing. I mean, I'm behind it. I'm a clown person on Twitter because keeping Baalke is a clown move, and we're tired of losing, man. We are absolutely tired of losing. He was on the Full Send podcast. If you look him up, he'll be out there. You'll see it. I'd take AB over Godwin. He's so smooth. I mean, can I get Godwin's head on AB's body? That's the thing. I mean, no one's questioning how good he is. People are questioning what the hell is going on upstairs. You know what I mean? UCF, make a GoFundMe so we can help fund you become the Jaguars' new owner. I don't know. It'd be a cool job. I'd be around a team. That's for damn sure. Let's see. That camera says that GoFundMe for UCF Jag to be owner would blow up. Yeah, I don't know how much. I mean, I think my YouTube community, we could probably crowdfund $5 to $10 grand. I don't know if that's enough to buy the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars. Let me see what they're valued at. Let me Google that. Jaguars net worth. $2.8 billion in 2021. So I don't know, man. There's got to be some closet millionaires for me to get that. 2.8 billion. I don't know, man. I love you guys. You guys have unlimited potential, but I don't think we can get that. It's crazy how Shad Khan, like his net worth, if you were to put everybody in this, me plus everybody in this live chat together, we don't even come close to what Shad Khan has, man. Billionaire. Man, that's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. TJ says, what's the deal with Pitt's wide receivers losing their mind? AB, Juju, and Chris Claypool. Chris Claypool lost them a game because he was like, being crazy. Yes, we have a better chance of starting our own franchise. Oh, yeah. Be new with a $10 donation. What's going on, man? Says, just supporting the channel, bro. Hope we make a good SVP, GM, and coach decision. Thank you so much, Be New. You are the man, and thank you always for the different donations you drop in here with. Yeah, man, it's right. We're all right there with you, man, because we're all running out of patience for this crap. We've been very patient, but that's why the fans are revolting. Because look, Shad Khan has made some of the wrong hires, but what he did in this offseason was inexcusable with bringing in Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke, and the fact that you're talking about retaining Trent Baalke, nah, dude, come on, man. Come on. Make a video about potential new owners. No, you can't get rid of an owner. It's like talking about new owners. That's like when people say, Jaguars need to just move the team. Well, I mean, that's not an option for me. If the Jaguars move the team, I mean, no, it's not an option. You know what I mean? Because, a lot of people say, they're not going to be Jags fans anymore. This is the last straw. My last straw, I'll go through all this BS. My last straw would probably be if they left Jacksonville. And I'll be honest with you, I would probably remain a Jags fan because, honestly, this channel means so much to me. And this channel really brought me with all you guys. This channel, helps me pay my mortgage. You know what I mean? Because obviously I get a monthly paycheck from YouTube, which is awesome. I started this channel up all by myself. I'm the only person that runs this channel. I've had some, people help me, whether they're sharing my videos. I have Camera Wallace that does my thumbnails, which helps out a lot. But, I was just a Jag fan out of Orlando, started this up, and, we built an awesome community here. So shout out to all you guys for keeping this channel alive and, allowing me to have a platform. It's been really awesome. And I'm coming up upon my 5-year YouTube anniversary is in a couple weeks. I think it's January 20th or something like that. So you guys got to check out my very first video. It's pretty embarrassing. Shout out to It's Reese with a $10 donation. Thank you so much, man. He says, hope they chant fire Khan and fire Baalke. Love the channel and our Jags. Thank you, man. Yeah, I can guarantee you they're gonna have a fire Baalke chant. Fire Trent Baalke. Literally, that's gonna be the easiest chant to start and to keep going. So yeah, that's I won't be at the game. I'd love to be there. Honestly, I was offered tickets to be at the game, and I would go to the game if it wasn't so far. If I was in Jacksonville, offered free tickets, I'd be there. If it was only a 20-minute drive from where I was, I'd go out to the tailgate and have fun. But come on, I'm not driving from Orlando to go to that crap. I'm not doing that. I'm actually going to my fiance's pop-up shop for her boutique, so I'll be in Tampa actually for that. For the game. So yeah. So thank you. It's Reese for the donation, man. My block Jag, shout out to him, man. He's got his own YouTube channel, so check him out. Am I kidding by wanting them to beat the Colts? No. Yeah, I would like to beat the Colts. I mean, knock the Colts out of the playoffs, and we have a legitimate streak that's at stake, man. The Colts haven't beaten the Jags in Jacksonville since 2014. That was before Bortles ever started a game. Last time the Colts won in Jacksonville was when Chad Henne was a starting quarterback. And we're so bad, we're about to snap that. You know, it's like Florida. They had this like 25-year winning streak against Kentucky. They've had bad coaches in there. Ron Zook, he kept the streak alive. Will Muschamp, he kept the streak alive. Jim McElwain, he kept it alive. But ultimately, it's Dan Mullen that stopped that. Hold on, my battery's about to die. Let me replace this. I'm gonna try to do. I started this stream early, so I want to do a 2-hour stream. So let me shut this off real quick. Bear with me, guys. Actually, can I put a thing up in here? All right, let me. I'm hoping this thing. Oh crap! All right, so that's not gonna work. This is gonna be bad, but I gotta use a different webcam. Let's see. Oh my gosh. This is my laptop webcam. Shit. All right. Oh, god damn it. Fucking spilled some shit. All right. Things are going south, guys. Things are going south. Stream's going downhill now, but I'm gonna keep it alive. What is that bright light? Oh, that's my ring light. Let me I should turn this light on. Sorry, guys. Low budget show here. Whatever. We'll rock with it like this. Teal light's going off. I think I've lost 40 people in the last 2 minutes. That's fine. Okay. So now it's just the cool kids. Only the cool kids will stick around for this. That ain't that bad. Yeah, but you know, I gotta not, you know, one nice thing about this, you know, getting like, you know, obviously just monthly stuff for this is like I can upgrade the channel, and I was able to last year. Real game changers being able to get this Canon camera. Let me pull it out real quick. You guys can get a behind the scenes look. I had see that thing right there. I literally have like a clamp light with color deflectors, but I was able to get this thing last year, this Canon camera. Man, it's really increased the, you know, really increased the value. All right, so Lucas says, not as bad as that car lot stream. Yeah, only the real ones were there for that. Only the real ones were there for that when I did the stream in a Toyota car lot going over how low the inventory was and checking out car prices. And that was sick. It's Reese says, I am out for redemption in that fantasy football league next year. Oh yeah. Yeah, you lost out in the Final Four, right? Yeah, because I remember you made the playoffs and you were in it. But yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Check your Twitter. I at you on a funny meme. All right. Yeah, I'll after the stream, I'll go check it out, man. Where did you get that full body Jaguar? Oh, I actually painted this one. I painted that one. So I made it. It's an 8-foot piece of plywood. Let me do something real quick. I'm gonna show you guys because I actually have a video about how I made it. I made it early on in the channel. Yeah, so let me go ahead and all right, I'm gonna show you guys. Oh my god, this is so long ago. So this is me back in 2017. You know, painting these things, this is how I funded my college. So okay, so what the hell? All right, so let's go through this, man. So this is an 8-foot piece of plywood. This isn't how I painted this. This is another one. But essentially, I take this thing, I cut it out. You see it shaping out. So this is how I funded my way through college. So I put on some primer on it, painted this bad boy up. Form here. After a little bit, gotta get the final touches on here. And then after a while, let's get through here. Messed up in this video. Yeah, see, I go back and forth. That's where I mess up in this video. Let's watch. Now we add on the dots. Look at this. Here's the spots. Boom. So sick. All right, so this is how this one looked. Yeah, I look a lot younger, don't I? Yeah, man, that's how I funded my way through college is doing that stuff. So this one right here, this is let me go back. This is one I did myself as a new design. I wanted to take on the old Jaguar, you know, the long one, but incorporate that with the new Jaguar head, and then even what's it called? I got the bigger spots on or whatever. So yeah, that's that, and it's 8 feet long, so it's pretty sick. Take my money, LOL. That's going in the man cave. Yeah, I don't make them anymore, man. Yeah. I don't what's your Cash App? I can send. I don't make them anymore. Unfortunately, I don't have time for it. There was one time where I randomly made one summer, the summer of 2020. But now that now that I'm back in school getting my master's degree, and I have I do YouTube and I have my full-time job. It's just, I don't have time for it anymore because it takes a long time to make. So yeah. Blessings, brother. Don't give up. Keep the videos coming. Thank you, man. Thank you. Roll ones know that outro. Yeah, I wonder how many of you guys were here then. Nice, bro. I made that from scratch, no pun intended. Yeah, it's literally just an 8-foot piece of plywood from and the other one that you guys see this one all the time. Let's get over here. This one was the very first one I made. This is a wooden one too. I made that. The way that thing came out was, I like to go to the Jaguars training camps. I went to all the practices, and I wanted to get something really cool for them to sign. So that's a one made out of a 4x4 one that I painted. And then I posted on like Jaguars Facebook, and then everybody wanted one, and then that's kind of how that started. How much did you make? I made them for $150 each. These long ones I would make for like $250 because it's more time and more plywood. Because I can take, one 8-foot sheet can make 2 of those Jaguars, but obviously this needs a full sheet. So, hey man, I'm moving to Orlando in about a month. Currently selling my house. Where do Jags fans go to watch the game? Is there a bar? I don't know. I mean, you should be able to find one. You guys all know I watch games right here. Like this is where I put my, like, you see these things that's up because this is where I put my green screen to do the game. So Yeah, that's I don't know the bars because I live stream them all. Wooden one with Jaguar autograph, priceless. Oh yeah. No bars and yeah, that's not. I go to Brandon every now and then. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of bars there. Florida is a part of the entire space. Do you build stuff for your fiancés? No, because I got to do like Jaguar logo is easier for me. Like when it comes to all the intricate, like, no, I just like to, it's just easier for me to paint. Let's see real quick. It was shot to Brett James. What's it called? This is him with he was a fantasy winner. He won. It's not coming out very good, but he won one of the fantasy leagues. And he got this thing. So that's pretty dope. Gray says, I'm not a fan of the clown stuff as a Jags fan, but it's kind of bad. Maybe I'm just more patient. The thing is, it's a way for fans to be heard, and keeping Trent Baalke is a clown move, and fans are outraged. Especially season ticket holders where they've just been taking the money, and they've been, almost people feel like they've been scammed. You can't really blame them. So, I don't like doing that, and it's not a personal attack at Shad Khan. They're not trying to be, there's people saying that like they're being like racist and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's just, these fans, they pay thousands of dollars investing in this product. People spend hours of their time watching these Jaguars and tirelessly supporting them. They go to these games, they put a crap product on the field. They see other fan bases come in here, and it's like a vacation for them. They just come in here, they whoop our ass, and they leave, showboat and all this stuff. And it's just a bad product, man. I can't. And this offseason, you can't give Shad the benefit of the doubt because this is a terrible coaching hire, man. You did no research on this, and you wasted Trevor Lawrence's rookie year, so the players should feel terrible. This is all around bad. Sponsorships are dropping out. All the optics of this is bad. And Bay says T-Law might be ruined. I don't think he's ruined, but we did him no favors. And one thing that we learned from this year is that Trevor Lawrence needs to be developed. He's not going to come in here and fix everything himself. He needs to learn, how to read the field. He needs to tighten his mechanics up. And you know what I mean? And is that so much to ask to be able to develop a rookie quarterback? I mean, my God. I got 9-8 for your record prediction next year. Yikes. I wish I could be that optimistic. I mean, I say at this point 4-13, but of course we don't know who we're going to, like I said, if next season, you have Trevor Lawrence combining with Calvin Ridley, Jameson Williams, you bring Chark back, you have Agnew back, ETN's back in the offense, Dan Arnold's out here making plays, you add some more weapons to the offense, fix up the offensive line, then I could start getting behind that maybe we can turn it around a little bit more, but, we'll see. 5, yeah, I'm saying 4 or 5 wins. But, we're going to be here in May. We're going to love the free agent class, love the draft class. We're going to talk ourselves into 10-7 playoffs, and, we'll see how that works out for us. Hey, Jags went 3-13 in 2016. Went 10-6 in 20. Yeah, but that 2017 year, man, that was a fluke. What the Jaguars did was they took advantage of 4 of their games being against Jacoby Brissett, Tom Savage, and TJ Yates. So you swept that. You didn't beat the Titans once. In the playoffs, you beat not a very good Bills team. The Bills made the playoffs that year, but that was not a very good team. And then you play the Steelers, and for whatever reason, the matchup against the Steelers is really good. I mean, it's like when Georgia plays Alabama. I mean, Georgia might be the better team, but Alabama, just whatever the matchup is, they're just better than them. You know what I mean? I think Ridley's a horrible idea. Okay. We need that type of guy. 5-13 is the best bet unless the Clowns unite. We'll be 1-17. Oh gosh. We're hey, I just shared um your portrait with everybody, man. It's dope. Jags winning Sunday, no cap. We'll see, man. We'll see. John says, you see a Jaguar. If we get number 1 draft pick, do you think we will trade down? Trading down is way harder said than done. The last however many years, we're like, trade down. We're going to trade down. We never do. You know what I mean? It's just so hard to find the right value. Unfortunately, there's no quarterback here. What is his name? Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati did nobody any favors by playing terrible. And, now you have the, who is it? Coral, the Ole Miss quarterback. He hurt his ankle. I don't know. There's no quarterback anybody wants to go up for. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully, maybe the thing is, what we got to hope for is that maybe Detroit is really eyeing a quarterback and a team falls in love with that guy and they want to jump Detroit to get to our spot. Or what if, we remember in 2017, the Bears were drafting number 3 and they traded up one spot with the 49ers to get Mitchell Trubisky. And they did that because, it's not like the 49ers were going to draft Trubisky because they already had Jimmy Garoppolo, but they were scared other teams were going to try to move up to surpass them and get their guy. So, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to. The thing we have to do is we have to go into this offseason. Then you guys know how the offseason works. Guys start moving up like crazy on draft boards because that's when the mock drafters really start hearing stuff from scouts, from GMs. The rumors start coming out, and then obviously you got the measurables with the NFL draft that happens. You have the combine, or you have the combine, and you have all the different pro days. Like Blake Bortles, for example, he was a projected first round pick. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go. And then, teams started seeing his measurables. Jordan Palmer put together himself a really, really good training session, when it comes to his pro day, and he looked incredible. And boom. Just like that, he gets picked number 3 overall. So we'll see. We'll just have to see, man. TJ says, as other Jaguar fans, are y'all bothered that the so-called greatest show on turf when we know the Jaguars were the best team that season and only lost 3 games? Well, to be fair, I was 6 years old that season, but yeah, it maddens me, especially when it comes out that apparently Greg Williams had the Jaguars offensive playbook, so the Titans defense knew every single one of our plays. So yeah, that bothers me. I would love for the Jaguars to have a Super Bowl, or at least a Super Bowl appearance. Because the years are going on, we're 27, 28 years into this franchise and no Super Bowl appearances, man. We're turning into the Detroit Lions. I'm not guessing any records next year. We got to wait and see. Yeah, that's the thing, because we have no idea what anything's going to look like next year. The only thing we know is that Trevor Lawrence will be our quarterback. Other than that, we don't know who the GM is going to be. We don't know the head coach. We might have an executive vice president of football operations. Who knows what the draft is going to look like? We don't know anything. You know what I mean? So we got to kind of wait it out and see. We will win a Super Bowl with me as QB when I get older. All right, man. I'll hold you to that, Gerald. I'll hold you to that. I just don't know why Paint would come here of all places. It was funny because I was making my coaching videos and people were like, hey, UCF, I have this awesome idea, bro. I'm like, all right, let's hear it. What if we bring in Doug Peterson as head coach and Byron Leftwich as offensive coordinator? It's like, I hate to break it to you, but that's not, first of all, on the surface of it, that's a lateral move. But if we're digging deeper into it, that is a demotion. If you go from the offensive coordinator of Tampa Bay Bucks to the offensive coordinator of the Jags, that's a big time demotion. You know what I mean? So let me move this over here. There we go. Now we're face on. That's a demotion. Bring back Tebow for head coach. All right. DJM's got the jokes. He has a good relationship with T-Law. Who are you talking about? Let's see what Christian says. How do you feel about Peyton Manning as VP? Yeah, that's another thing. Why would Peyton Manning want to come here? Peyton Manning has no ties here. He openly like makes fun of us all the time. Like, I know we're shooting for the stars, but we got to shoot for the top of a building. I mean, we can't get up to the stars yet, man. I'm still upset about getting rid of Teal and Cole. Yeah, I don't blame you. I want to be upset with Kellen Moore. Yeah, that's my number 2. That's a really intriguing option for me, if I'm being honest. I know it doesn't, but that's it. We may trade James Robinson, keep Travis and Armstead as running back. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why we would want. I mean, I don't know why we would want to trade James Robinson. I'm not in the business of trading away good players and letting good players walk. I'm just gotta keep our guys, because people are like, oh, we need to get rid of Cam Robinson. We need to get. It's like, why? Like, why do you want to get rid of the best players on our team? You know what I mean? And Urban Meyer was the guy that had the issue with James Robinson. Urban Meyer's not here, so next guy will probably like James Robinson. 2 more years for T-Law to prove he's the one. We'll see. I think more time than that, because we waited our whole entire life for a franchise quarterback. We gave Blake Bortles 5 years. You know what I mean? T-Law will be fine. The last time number 1 pick was traded was in 1990 when the Colts traded up and picked QB Jeff George. That's not accurate, because just a few years ago, the Rams traded up to get Jared Goff. Who do they trade with? Because the Eagles traded up to number 2 that year. And also Sam Bradford, the Rams traded up with, I think. So the Rams traded up to number 1 to get Sam Bradford. And the Rams a few years later traded up to get Jared Goff. T-Law equals glorified Nick Foles. Okay, well that's certainly a take. Lawrence needs to work on throwing time. Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of stuff to work on. That's for sure. That shouldn't be ignored. But I don't put a lot of blame on Trevor Lawrence, because he's a rookie quarterback. He needed to be developed, and he was put into a terrible, terrible situation here. And we all talked about, oh, the Jets situation is terrible. Jags are a lot better spot than that. At least in 2021, the Jets were a better spot than Jacksonville, if we're being honest. Bring back Keenan McCardell. I agree. I don't know if he's coming back here, though. Depression, enough said. Okay. I'm sorry, man. Get rid of Joe Cullen. We're getting rid of everybody. Do you think you could catch more balls than Laviska? Probably not. I'll give the NFL player the edge. But I will say, I was pretty good at catching footballs back in the day. I'll say that. How do you think Zach Wilson is doing? I haven't watched enough to give him an analysis. I mean, I think that Jags game, he wasn't super impressive to me, the Jags game. He kind of ran the ball all over the place. Like, he didn't make any throws that really made me wow. But I wish the best for him. I mean, I want everybody to win. You know what I mean? I don't cheer for anybody's demise. I know a lot of Jags fans were just like, super cheering against Zach Wilson. Even Jets fans are cheering against Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I don't care, man. Let's just focus on ourselves and win. I still don't understand why we are interviewing Bill O'Brien. I mean, while they're at, let's hire Adam Gase. Well, the thing, I'm not mad about interviewing Bill O'Brien, because one thing that they said Shad Khan wants to do is that he wants to talk to more people. Because last year, they just narrowed in on Urban Meyer, and that was the guy. And I think they might have interviewed some other people, because they deserved it. Maybe got rid of some guys because of the Rooney Rule. Speaking of the Rooney Rule, it's interesting because we all look at the candidates that the Jaguars are, going for. And we all understand the names. Got to interview Doug Peterson. Got to interview Jim Caldwell. Kellen Moore is a big name. Byron Leftwich, obviously. But some guys that got left out. Eric Bieniemy. It looks like he's not in the mix. Brian Dable. He was a popular guy. His name doesn't seem to be in the mix. And also Josh McDaniels. I don't know what the deal with him is. So those are a few names. I guess I don't know. We'll see when other teams start to open it up. I don't think the Raiders have interviewed anybody. Because they're right in the middle of the situation over there. But we'll see. T just said, "Sad truth, boys. I'm having more fun talking about the Jaguars here than on TV." Yeah, I mean, this is the difference between us guys. We're fans. I'm a fan. You guys are fans. I'm not in 1010 XL. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are kind of getting fed up with some 1010 XL stuff this week, because it seems like they're kind of taking a pro or like an anti-clown effect. But I always tell people, man, it's like fans get frustrated because fans don't feel like they have a voice. You know what I mean? It's really easy to sit here on the radio, to all of Jacksonville, to thousands of people, thousands of people to sit here and say clown movement is not good. We need to, but the thing is, these guys have a big voice when it comes to talking to Jaguars. Most fans don't. All Jaguars fans can do is unite as one on Twitter. Everyone has their individual Twitters. Some people have 100, some people have 400, some people maybe have 1,000. Everybody joins together, creates one movement, and let themselves be heard that way. And it's happened. First News for Jacks and First Coast News started taking notice. And then now you're seeing, as of today and yesterday, a lot of national articles are coming out, signifying that Jags fans are coming to the game on Sunday dressed as clowns. You know what I mean? The fans won. And now a stadium sponsor, and we shouldn't laugh about it. We shouldn't be, thinking it's funny and that the Jaguars lose a top sponsorship, worth $600,000. We shouldn't be laughing and celebrating that, because the Jaguars need all the revenue they can. But it's like, dude, Shad, we all give you credit for winning the business side of things. You're now losing the business side of things. You know what I mean? You're having season ticket holders threatening, saying, if you guys keep Trent Baalke, I'm out. Fans haven't completely, thrown him away, but they said, look, if you keep this guy around, there's no way that I keep my season tickets. A shout out to, God, I would hate to be a season ticket rep. God, that would be imagine that, man. Imagine that, being a season ticket rep, having to sell this crap. I feel for you guys. I'm sure some of you guys, I don't know anybody, but I'm sure there's season ticket reps that watch my videos, and it's tough. It's tough. But I'm going to be on here. I'm almost 2 hours. I'm going to hit 2 hours and head out. Thanks everyone for being here. 157 people in here. Let's see. Let's see if I've hit 100 likes yet. I hope I have. If not, we got to get there. All right, 112. All right, that's fine. We're at 112. That's good. Shout out to everyone in here, man. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you haven't already. And also, guys, if you haven't joined the Relevant app, I do shows with Tom McManus Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and then 2 hours before every Jags kickoff, including live halftime reports. Schedule will probably change once the season is over. We'll figure out a different schedule, but go over to Relevant and join the Jaguars Fanatics 5 to listen to the Duval Vibes podcast exclusively on Relevant. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Definitely appreciate you guys all being here, man. I'll answer a few more questions. I got to get myself to the 2 hour mark. Dude, the season ticket rep called me and sounded like they were about to sell me a family. Yeah, tell me a family member. Yeah, that's it's tough, and I hate to see the Jaguars in it, because I love the Jaguars, man. I love the team so much. It hurts me to see them like this, but the sad thing is, it seems like it's hurting me more than Shad Khan, which pathetic, man, pathetic. I mean, maybe if I was, making $1 million a day, maybe I'd be a little less caring about, a measly football team does. Maybe, if I was a billionaire. Actually, no, even if I was a billionaire, I'd be pretty damn passionate about the Jaguars, because at that point you have all the money in the world. What at that point will get you going? It's got to be your football team, man. I mean, and that's why I'll be here. That's why I'll be here forever, man. I'll always be making Jaguar videos, because I'm never going to lose my passion for the Jaguars. And that's why you see so many podcasters and YouTubers come up and down. Like there'll be Jaguars people that will, start up YouTube channels, and they don't last very long because the truth is, like, they do not like the Jaguars as much as I do. That's what's kept this channel going for 5 years, man. They got to be passionate. And yeah, like, and when you go through all this BS, it's probably hard for some people to keep it going. But all right, guys, shout out to It's Reese. Thanks for being here, man. David Bryan, shout out to you, man. Jose, we got Captain, Fire Baalke Train, James Davis. Shout out to all you guys, man. Thanks for being here. And you guys already know what it is, man. Duval till we got die. Go Jags. I'm out.